What's up, guys? We have reached episode 23 of the 2026 MLB Team Preview Series. Today, we are focusing on the Philadelphia Phillies. However, first, I want to direct your attention right here. Shout out to Sunday Swagger. They are sponsoring the video. They have awesome golf clothes. Everybody plays golf nowadays. Go check them out. They got the best fitting shirts I've ever worn on a golf course. They're so comfortable. Awesome hats, accessories, kids' clothes, women's clothes. It's awesome. Go check them out. There's no promo code. The code is embedded in the link, so follow the link below in the description, and you'll get 15% off. Let's get into the episode. Philadelphia Phillies 2025 went 96-66, finishing first in the NL East, number 2 seed overall in the National League. They won the division by 13 games. It's 8 more than any of the other division winners. They just dominated the NL East. The Braves collapsed. They didn't really collapse. They were bad from the get-go. They started like 0-6 and just never recovered. The Mets, apostrophe D, they were just bad for most of the year. Then the Phillies just kept chugging along and kept dominating. They went playoff lists from 2012 to 2021. Now they've reached the playoffs 4 years in a row, reaching the World Series in 2022. Notable transactions. They re-signed Kyle Schwarber for 5 years, $150 million. They also re-signed catcher JT Realmuto for 3 years, $45 million. Additionally, they got a collection of relief pitchers. Signed Brad Keller for 2 years, $22. Received Jonathan Bolin from the Royals, Kyle Backus from the Diamondbacks, and Zach Pop signed for 1 year, $900K. They also signed outfielder Adolis Garcia for 1 year, $10 million. They lost starting pitchers Ranger Suarez and Walker Buehler, relief pitchers Matt Strahm, Jordan Romano, and David Robertson, and outfielders Harrison Bader and Nick Castellanos. I don't know what to make of this because their big signings were re-signings for the most part. The Schwarber, Realmuto signings are their biggest gets, but those were re-signs. So those were players they already had last year. Losing Suarez is going to hurt. I think losing Castellanos is going to hurt. I think losing Bader might hurt a little bit. Adolis Garcia will probably make up for Bader and Castellanos, to be honest. I don't see how they fix Ranger Suarez loss, but we shall see. Undecided on whether or not this is a win or a loss. It might be a wash to me. Some injuries to monitor going into the season. Starting pitcher Zack Wheeler. Now this will make up for Ranger Suarez. He had thoracic outlet decompression surgery. Now normally I don't really go into detail. Most of the procedures that are done involving baseball injuries are stuff that I know about. I had no clue what this was, so I wanted to look it up. Also, he's questionable for opening day. But I wanted to look it up, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's very interesting. It relieves compressed nerves or blood vessels between the collarbone and your first rib. In order to fix it, they remove a rib, cut the muscles, and remove the scar tissue. I don't know about you, but that sounds painful. That sounds like it could have long-term effects. That sounds like that's an important area of the body for a pitcher. So I'm not sure what to make of this. Also, relief pitcher Orion Kerkering strained his hamstring in February. He's questionable for opening day. The Zack Wheeler one's big. If he can come back, we'll get into it. I have some Zack Wheeler notes for later on. Major storylines for 2026. Is the World Series window closing for Philadelphia Phillies? Let's be honest, they're not getting any younger. Trey Turner is 32, Schwarber is 33, Schwarber, Harper, and Garcia are all 33. Realmuto, Wheeler are 35. I know they're not really like old, quote unquote, but it feels like this core Phillies group is reaching the end of their window, and as of right now, they have nothing to show for it. This was a very well put together team, and it's kind of shitty that they didn't get a World Series out of this so far. If Justin Crawford makes the roster, however, he does bring down the average age significantly, but that doesn't take away from the core of this team being as old as they are. The Braves and Mets should be better than they were in 2025, I would think. The Braves seem like they couldn't get anything to fall their way last season. find it hard to believe that they're going to be worse. They are missing some starting pitchers now due to some spring training injuries. So maybe they are going to get worse. I don't know. I feel like the Mets have gotten a good bit better over the offseason. So the Phillies' competition should stiffen to where a 13-game division win is probably unlikely. But I do still think this is the best team in the division. What are we going to get from Zack Wheeler? As I previously mentioned about 1.5 minutes ago, Zack Wheeler's injury seems hindering from just reading what it is. Is it actually going to be? I have no idea. Never heard of the surgery before yesterday when I did the research for this team. If he can come back to what he was the previous 6 years in Philly, that's a cheat code now. 6 years. In those 6 years, his ERA was over 3 only once. His ERA plus was under 140 only once. He has 2 Cy Young Award runner-ups, 2 other top 10 finishes, 2 seasons with MVP votes. He's a Gold Glove winner. He's done it all. Ever since he signed with Philly, he has given more than what they could have ever dreamt of. A healthy Zack Wheeler combined with Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo is... I know it seems like we're saying this every day now with these. We're now getting to the teams that are World Series hopefuls. And that is one hell of a 3-man punch, and that is a group that you're not going to want to face in the playoffs. It might be better than Detroit's that we were just talking about the other day with Skubal, Valdez, and Flaherty, and/or Verlander. This top 3 is just as good as them. Skubal's probably better than Wheeler, not by much. Sanchez and Valdez seems a bit of a wash to me. I might actually prefer Sanchez. Luzardo is better than Flaherty. I don't know. This is a good top 3. If he's struggling with health, coming back from this surgery, now your rotation is looking a little thin. Enter Andrew Painter season. Depending on Wheeler's health, Painter should get some starts in 2026. He's the number 2 prospect for Philly, number 28 overall prospect, number 7 overall pitching prospect in Major League Baseball. His minor league results have been very weird. 2024, he was absolutely dominant. Couldn't have been much better. 155 strikeouts in 103 innings. A 156 ERA across 3 levels between single A and double A. 2025, he spent the majority in triple A, and he was bad. A 5.26 ERA. Walk rate skyrocketed. The exit velo went up. They were hitting him hard. They were hitting him often. Strikeout rate went way down. I don't know what to make of it. He's still highly touted by a lot of evaluators, even after that season. So maybe it was bad luck. Maybe, I don't know, was there an injury that wasn't reported? I don't know. But the numbers are drastically different between 24 and 25. I am curious to see what he does in 2026. It seems like he is going to get some starts regardless of Zack Wheeler's health. And if Wheeler misses anything, I think Painter's going to slot into that number 5 spot. The bullpen, a little bit of a question mark in the front end. The back end is going to be dominant. And I think the back end could mask the front end should Wheeler be healthy, and that rotation gives you a lot of length. You got 3 guys that could potentially pitch 200 innings. If that's the case, then the front half of this bullpen isn't really going to affect too much. John Duran, I don't know how to say his name. Jose Alvarado, Brad Keller, and Orion Kerkering if he's healthy. That's a solid back 4. Alvarado, Keller, and then Duran doing 8th and 9th inning duties is going to be hard to hit. The rest of the bullpen, the front half could struggle a bit. They're not great. So I would want to bank on them getting a lot of innings out of these starting pitchers and not using that bullpen in a lot of stressful situations. The last thing I want to talk about is Bryce Harper, 2025 season, whether or not it was a fluke or if that's the new norm. And I say fluke, still had a very good season. He still had a 131 weighted run created. It was still a very good season. Dave Dombrowski made it very clear that he didn't think it was elite, quote unquote. Bryce Harper said he didn't take offense to that, or he didn't necessarily say he didn't take offense to it. He said that he doesn't need it for motivation, but he came to spring training wearing a shirt that says not elite. So I think he took a little bit of offense to it. He doesn't need it to want to be better. However, that 131 weighted run created and his 844 OPS is still a good bit below his norm. Shockingly. It was his lowest OPS plus since 2019. It was his lowest average since 2019. His lowest BABIP, batting average on balls in play, since 2018, which could suggest bad luck. But the underlying metrics were normal to all his other years. The exit velo, the strikeout rate, the walk rate, the barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, all that was normal to every other year since 2019. It's just the average went down, the power went down. He wasn't creating the runs that he used to create. So I'm not really sure what to make of it. I hope he gets back to normal for the sake of baseball and for the sake of the Phillies. I think Bryce Harper being MVP quality Bryce Harper is good for baseball. He's a polarizing figure. There's a lot of people that absolutely love him. There's a lot of people that absolutely hate him. He's good for baseball. Him being good is good for baseball. Player focus. Kyle Schwarber. Watching Kyle Schwarber in the World Baseball Classic, it's fun to say it like that, has been a lot of fun. I don't watch him as often as I wish I would. I'd like to tune into more Phillies games this year. But he's defined what a modern designated hitter should be. He walks a ton. He hits a ton of home runs. And he strikes out a ton. He's one of the most prolific hitters in the sport. There's no doubt about that. 100 walks, 3 straight years. He led the NL in both home runs and RBIs. 4 straight seasons with MVP votes, finishing runner-up to Shohei last year. He is really, really good at what he does. I did find some very interesting stats that I don't think mean anything at all. I just think they are interesting, and I would like to point them out. In 2023, he finished 19th in MVP voting. Obviously, that's not close to winning MVP, but he got votes. Generally, they don't put you in there unless you got a vote to put you above the rest of the people. So he got at least a vote for MVP in 2023. And he finished with an OPS of 121, which is 20% better than the average hitter, while batting 197. Yes, 197. Under 200. A full season. Under 200. And received MVP votes. If that doesn't tell you how prolifically powerful he is, I don't know what to tell you. Also, another odd... Let me turn this off. Another odd stat that I got is he's 5th in the percentile in whiff rate at 33.1%. He is 90th percentile in chase rate at 21.5%. That might be confusing. What that means is he swings and misses more than 95% of people in Major League Baseball. That is a bad stat to be a part of. However, he chases, which means he's swinging and missing outside of the strike zone, more than or less than 90% of Major League Baseball. So he's swinging and misses a ton, but does not swing out of the strike zone. So he's just swinging and missing at pitches that are strikes, more than almost everybody else. Which is weird. And then it goes on to hit 55 home runs and drive in 130. It's just really weird. I don't think either one of them mean anything at all. I just found them very odd. I don't normally come across stats like that when I'm looking up these teams. The 197 batting average I think was fluky. He generally sits in the 240 range, but the numbers are just crazy that he's able to get recognition like that while batting below 200. There's a reason why he signed a $150 million deal at 33 years old. He's as dominant an offensive force as we have in this sport. If Philadelphia is to reward this roster and this window, this core roster window with a World Series, Schwarber has to be more effective in the playoffs. He has not been a good playoff hitter. 2026 outlook. I picked Atlanta in 2025 to win this division. I actually picked them to win the World Series last year. I couldn't have been more wrong. And I really wanted to double down and say Atlanta runs it back to win the AL East this season after a really weird 2025. The injuries to their starting pitchers have put a stop to that, and now I'm back to believing that Philadelphia is going to win this division again. I don't think it's going to be a 13-game margin, as I mentioned earlier. I think New York will be better, but I don't think they're going to be good enough to compete with this roster unless injuries strike heavily. I think this roster is just too deep. The starting rotation is too good. The back end of the bullpen is dominant. It's just a good roster. That's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Lastly, I want to shout out to W Energy, who is the other sponsor of this channel. Link is below. Follow that. You'll get 10% off using promo code BATBOY. They got awesome drinks. I mention it every time. They got awesome hats. They got cool tumblers. I use that to drink water and everything else also, in addition to the energy drinks that I'm drinking out of it. So go check them out in the link below. Use promo code BATBOY. Monday, we will be back with the Boston Red Sox. We are down to the final 7 teams. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I will say I am tired of having to do this every single day. But I have enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys watching and listening and interacting. So if you don't mind, subscribe, like, share. Follow me on TikTok at TheBadBoyMLB. I post a lot of stuff there. And we will see you guys on Monday.